What's up everyone, my name is Arthur West and today we are going to show you how to convert a WordPress theme into your the.com site. This takes only a few minutes and it's really super simple to do. We're just going to work with the HTML file and the CSS style sheet and bring them right into our site. With just a few clicks, we'll have a live and working site on our own domain using the.com. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm super excited today to show you how to import a theme from WordPress right into our the.com site. In just a few minutes, we are going to bring in an entire theme and then we're going to customize a little bit to make it our own. This is not going to take any technical knowledge, just a little bit of editing of an HTML file, but we're not going to have to code or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do this completely from scratch. I'm going to log in and choose Start Building. Just to show you how we can do this without any prior knowledge, I'm going to start from a completely blank slate by clicking Create Site. It's going to spin up here an instance for me of a new site that's not going to have any information at all. Once it's done, we can just go ahead and click Edit Site. As you can see, there's nothing in here. It's a completely blank canvas. To make this work, we're essentially just going to need one page because for this example, we're making like a marketing page or a home page for our new website. So to do this, we're just going to simply add a page. We hit this blue plus button to add our first page, and we can actually just call this home. So now we have a home page in our site and nothing else. So what we want to do is navigate into the home page where we actually don't have any elements yet. If we had anything, it would show up here in the preview part of this designer. So we're going to need two things. We're going to bring in a HTML file and a CSS file to make this all work. So what we can do is add a new element, and if we search here for HTML, there's actually an element called raw HTML, which is exactly what we need. So we're not going to do anything with it yet except add it to our site. The only other thing that we'll need here is a style sheet. So we'll need to bring in a CSS style sheet, which just defines the styles for the page. And we'll bring that in from this other theme, this other WordPress theme that we're going to import. To do that, we're just going to add another element and we're going to click style sheet. And again, we're just going to add it. We're not going to do anything with it yet, but I do want to let you know that you can just type in your CSS here manually if you would prefer, but we are going to actually paste this all in from a theme that we found on WordPress, a WordPress theme that we found rather. So let's go ahead and leave this as it is right now. We'll go ahead and save our changes just so we don't lose anything. And we're going to hop over here to this WordPress theme that I found on the web. Now, this is great because there actually happens to be a source code here on GitHub where we can get all the source code information. We're not going to need much. We're just going to need the HTML file in the style sheet. So if we bounce over here to GitHub, we can go into this folder called source. We can go to this folder right here called dist, and then in here is an index.html file, which is just the HTML file for the home page here that we were just looking at. So if we go ahead and click HTML, and then we can click this raw button, which just gives us basically all the HTML in text format. We can hit Control A, we can copy this, and then we can come back to our project, and then in this element, which is the raw HTML, we can actually paste this HTML file right into this div block, and it's all there. You'll notice with the.com, it's super fast, so anytime you make any changes, you actually see it in real time here, which is super helpful, and it makes it really easy to see your changes as you work. So this is great, but there's no styling here. It's just like all of this text, it's all left aligned, and there's not any styling that's associated with our elements on the page. So to fix that, we're going to go back here to this GitHub file, and we are going to try to find the CSS file. So if we come in here and we go to this dist folder, and then we go to CSS and then styles.css, and click this, same thing. We get a file with all of the CSS styles for this page. We're going to click raw. We're going to hit Control A to copy everything, copy it, and we're going to go back to our site. And now within this style box, we're going to paste all of this CSS. So let's go ahead and paste this in here. And as I do this, we should actually see all the styling come right into the page, which is super cool. So we have this homepage essentially all styled and ready to go. There's a few things here though that we need to show you to make this work. So the image files that were in the page that we were using as an example aren't going to work because they were hosted somewhere else. To make this work, we want to bring in our own images on the.com. We're going to host them on the.com's server, and then we are going to point our HTML to these images to make these images work. And this will, I think, give you a really good illustration of how you can quickly use your own images and customize a page just by editing some of the HTML. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to hop back here to the HTML file. If we go back to this folder and we go to index.html, we go to raw, we copy all this. I'm going to actually bring this into a text editor here. This is just called Sublime Text. I like it a lot. It makes it really easy to read HTML because it color codes it and puts it into this nice sheet for you. But what we're looking at here is just this HTML file. There's nothing here that's too crazy or confusing, but what we want to do is find in the HTML file where this image is. So this image right here, we want to actually locate this image in the HTML file and then replace it with one of our, if we go back to our HTML file, we can actually start to look at this and figure out where on the page this is going to be. So this is all the HTML. If we start just going down the page here, we're going to actually just look for this first image file, which is right here. The master head avatar image is the source assets image avatars.svg. So that's this line here corresponds with this image here. So I'll show you how we're going to fix this. If we go back to our home sheet, there's actually this media portion, this media element that we can add our own media to. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag an image from my computer right into this media folder. I think I can just drag it right in here. Not sure why that's not working, but I'll just add it from here. Okay, so now we have this media file, and if we hover over the top right hand corner, we can copy the asset URL. So all that's doing is copying where this image is located, in our project, the actual URL. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. If we hop back to our HTML file, we can come right back to this section and actually paste the location of this image right where it says source and replace what was previously there. Now, if we select all of this HTML, copy it, head back to our site, go back to the home page, and we go back to this HTML file, we can open this up, we can delete this all out, and now we can paste in our new HTML, and there we go. Our rocket image that we just uploaded is now live and replacing the current image that was there. So again, just to recap, we took the image that was currently in the original HTML file, we uploaded our own image to d.com, here's where it's hosted, and we just pointed the source of this image to that file. Pretty cool. Now, if we go down our page, there's this nice portfolio section which looks completely broken because none of the images are pointed correctly. Again, if we go back to our Sublime Text, you can actually look at this code. This HTML, it's not even really code, but it's just basically HTML markup language. If you look at this portfolio section, it's nicely organized. You can come down here and see this is the portfolio grid items, and these are all the images in this portfolio. So same thing, if we want to replace some of these images, we can actually just upload our own and then point these image sources to where our images are hosted on the.com. I'll do a couple of these as an example just to show you how quickly we can make this portfolio look really nice. So let's just say we're like an icon designer or something, and we are wanting to show the icons that we designed in our portfolio. So we can just simply hit add new. We can go to download. I just downloaded some icons here. We can go ahead and upload these. As these upload, we'll do that one there, and then we'll do, yep, there they both are. So they both actually uploaded. You can do multiple images at once. It just took a minute for it to come through. So we're gonna copy the URLs again, just like we did these asset URLs. We're gonna copy the first one, hop back to our Sublime text here, and this is the first item in the portfolio. We're gonna go ahead and paste this image URL here, just like that. Now, if we hop back to our media gallery here, we can take the second image asset URL and paste it back into this HTML file here for the second image. So now we have our own images for the first two. The rest of them will still be broken, but this should give you a good idea of how we might be able to do this. So now that we have these changes made, the last step is taking this HTML file again and copying it, or selecting all, copying it, and then coming back to our site, going to the home page, deleting out this HTML, and pasting it here again. So now when we scroll down on our page, we should actually see two images in our portfolio. Super cool. So you get the idea. There's actually spots here for 6 images. We only did 2 just for the sake of demonstration, but you could upload all of your images. And if you wanted to add more, it would be really easy. You would just need to copy one of these portfolio items and paste the whole thing, and you could do as many as you want. So if we hop back to our site, all of these text elements, by the way, too, that are on the page, the About section, this image here, and all of this can all be just edited by finding its appropriate sections in this HTML file. You can even change like the navigation links in the header. You could change portfolio to, let's just do test. Let's just try this. We'll copy it. We'll go back to our site. We'll delete this all out and we'll hit paste, and there we go. Our link now says text. These sections are actually navigable and they work. This would actually say portfolio. We changed it to next. This goes to your about section. This is all functional and it's working. The final step, if we wanted to publish this, would just be to make sure we save all of our changes and hit deploy. So in just about 10 minutes, we brought in WordPress theme right into our site. We made it our own and we published it as live.